For the past couple of days, I've talked about events relating to the Mandela effect, the so-called Mandela effect, and today I'm going to talk about synchronicity. And what inspires me to discuss this subject is this unlikely intersection of two pieces of media that have entered my consciousness over the last week or so, all curiously, or both curiously intersecting in the same exact city and state. That is the city of Bend, the state of Oregon. Let me explain. Yesterday, one of my viewers named Dapper referred me to this. Well, it was something that was originally posted on 4chan, or what he gave me was something posted on 4chan, but the 4chan discussion was about this video that is now up on YouTube. One wonders how much longer it will be up on YouTube, in which a young man recounts his horrific experience, or what he claims to have endured, because of course, his claims haven't been verified. He's just some guy on the internet, but it seemed believable to me, and you can listen for yourself and see for yourself. It was for me, it was believable, and it was well in accord with other things that I've heard about. And in any case, what this young man was discussing was being taken out of his home when he was 15 years of age by a couple of goons both of whom had some prior experience with law enforcement on some level. One of them he claimed was ex-CIA. The other was some special forces guy. Anyway, they took him out of his home when he was 15, took him brought him onto a plane. The plane bypassed all security, and where they got on this plane at LAX, one of the busier airports in the world, but bypassed all of the security and flew this plane to Bend, Oregon. And this was just to cut to the chase. You can watch the video, and I'll provide the link below. But what this guy was talking about was being taken to be a part of one of these wilderness schools. I'm not sure what exactly they're called or what name they go under. A few months ago, I discussed these schools, and CEDU was one of them, I think, that was located in Maine. There were others that were located across the West. Most of them are in locations where they're far away from everything. And the ostensible reason for these schools is to take kids who are, who need help, troubled kids, either who've gotten involved with drugs or whatever, and to take them to this place and give them some tough love and make them just subject them to all these harrowing experiences and this sort of prison-like life in order to quote, scare them straight. If you watch the video This Is Paris, about Paris Hilton, she was taken as a child, as a teenager, to one of these places. So there's a lot of interesting information out there about these kinds of schools, which I think are still in existence today. And as far as I know, this taking kids away in the dead of night, breaking into their rooms, forcing them into a van, and taking them is a common practice for these schools. It's thought to be for their own good, and so forth. But it's really quite terribly abusive, and as are the schools as well. Now, this guy's video ups the ante a little bit, because he discusses being made to strip naked in front of a bunch of people, and being forced to do all kinds of things while they took pictures of him, you know, ostensibly for security purposes, but he said it was in this big room with a bunch of executives and stuff, where it sounds more like, you know, the production of child pornography. And that's where, if some of you might think his story strains credulity, you know, and that's fine. If that's, you know, if you need more, if you're not quite at the point where you can believe, if you can just take somebody's word for it, you know, you might think, well, something like that wouldn't happen. You know, the word would get out, whatever. I'm familiar with that mindset, because I used to have that mindset. Anyhow, in this video, which I will link to below, this guy gives account of flying into Bend, Oregon. And it just so happens that about a week ago, I watched this video on Netflix. Yes, I still have Netflix. I know that makes me, that'll take me down a peg in many of your eyes, but I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you know, you got to unwind sometimes. So, and they do, you know, and there is a lot of crap and a lot of propaganda there, but they do have some features that are actually good. I would maintain, but anyway, feel however you want to feel about me for still being subscribed to Netflix. In any case, I watched this documentary. I can't remember the title right now, but it was all about Blockbuster Video. And already this is kind of weird, because Netflix is what essentially made Blockbuster obsolete, or Netflix won out, and Blockbuster disappeared. So you'd think that there would be a conflict of interest in this being a Netflix show, a Netflix-made documentary about Blockbuster Video. But anyway, this video was about the last remaining Blockbuster Video. There is one Blockbuster Video that, you know, where you still can go in just like you could like 15 years ago, or however long it was, you know, when that was just a normal thing, when video stores were still a thing. There's one remaining Blockbuster Video, and it's in Bend, Oregon, which is a weird synchronicity. What else can I say about this? The documentary itself is mostly pretty wholesome. The family that owns this last remaining Blockbuster is, you know, seems like a nice sort of middle American family. They have a lot of kids. Their kids have a lot of friends. They you know, they hang out together. It's just very, the mom who owns the store is like the mom to everybody, and you get very wholesome vibes about these people. But at the same time, there are all these interviews with these Hollywood types like Kevin Smith and I don't know, other actors and people who are in the industry, who give off far less wholesome vibes, and who, if you know anything, if you've studied these people and looked up stuff about them, you realize that they are far from wholesome. So the video itself is this weird intersection of you know, putting this family on display that seems like the just in some ways the ideal middle American Norman Rockwell type family, wholesome values, wholesome middle American vibes. but they're the owners of this final blockbuster franchise ever to exist, which still is in existence in Bend, Oregon. So you would get the impression from that Bend, Oregon is like a wholesome sort of place, but then I mean, Portland is how far away from Bend is how far away from Portland is Bend, and vice versa. That's a question both literal and metaphorical that one could ask oneself, considering what Portland represents and what Portland has become. Anyhow, I just found it strange that there was this intersection, this synchronicity involving Bend, Oregon. That city would be the place that would feature this last blockbuster video ever to exist, with all of the attendant stuff that, you know, blockbuster video brings into the picture. Everything about showbiz, you know, and movies, which is something that, you know, I feel very ambivalently about, because I love movies as far as the art form goes, and you know, I have I'm an intractable cinephile, as I've said before. But at the same time, knowing everything that you know about showbiz and the horrifying, obscene, disgusting things that take place in Hollywood and in the industry generally, to have that be, I mean, and this was crossing my mind even as I was watching this documentary on Netflix, which was a Netflix documentary about Blockbuster. Again, that's also, like I said, shows this kind of collusion amongst these corporate giants, or what is a corporate giant still, and what used to be the corporatist of all video stores that, you know, would come into your town and put all the local mom and pop stores out of business, you know. And yet this one Blockbuster Video is helmed by this very independent kind of mom and pop operation that owns that one last franchise. So Bend, Oregon being this this connecting place between this last Blockbuster Video ever to exist, and all that goes along with it, all that attends Blockbuster Video in Hollywood and etc. To have that intersection with this horrifying account of this boy being taken from his home in the dead of night at the behest of his parents, and taken to this wilderness school and abused horribly there, and to have that be again intersect with Bend, Oregon, and have Bend, Oregon be complicit in his abuse, because he talks about when they land their plane in Bend, Oregon, and how the police are there on the scene just watching him and all these other kids being taken, handcuffed, and having black bags put over their faces and being marched away, and they're just watching, and this is obvious abuse, and they're obviously complicit, they're obviously paid off, and there's obviously a large sector of law enforcement that is corrupt and paid off, and is not worthy of our trust in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. Very curious that it all intersects it with Bend, Oregon. Of all places, it could be, you know, out of all the places that they could have flown him in the United States or in the world, it had to be Bend, Oregon. So, weird synchronicity. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what to think of it beyond that. Thanks for watching. My name's Andy Nowicki. Check out my work at altrightnovelist.com.